Hi everyone, welcome back. And today I'm here with Miss Angelica. I'm super excited. I told her that when we started this podcast, I definitely wanted to dive in to get to know us and the real us behind the real estate cap, which I think is super exciting. So how are you feeling? You nervous? No. You're like, I'm ready. I was born for this. No. No, I don't think so. The questions are pretty, leve. So let's start to know a little bit about you. Where were you born? Where were you raised? What was childhood like?
I was born in San Jose, California. I was an only child for about 7 years. So lots of good memories being that one child. And then I have three brothers, so I'm the oldest. Only daughter, favorite daughter.
Yes.
I also was first daughter-in-law in my husband's family, so that's
fun.
nice. Many firsts, and then the oldest granddaughter on both sides of the family.
That's so awesome. Angelica, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I am the favorite daughter too, the only daughter. So I love that we share that in common. I think that, I don't know how it was for you, but being the only daughter, it wasn't so much like spoiled, but it was like, okay, you got this, because you're the oldest, right? You said?
Right.
How was that?
It was a natural caretaker role.
Yeah.
Especially for my cousins. I have two twin cousins and a cousin right after them that I'm very close to. It's more like they're sisters.
Oh, cool.
And it was just a natural caretaker role. My mom's mom was deaf growing up. I was told I was always by her side. So I think just maybe wanting to help her out made me slip into that role of caretaking and making sure that everything was okay around us. I remember with my mom just singing a lot. So singing, music, and art were a big factor growing up for me. So although I'm very close to my mom and my grandmother from her side, I get a lot of my traits from my dad's side, my dad's sister and his mom. In fact, my mom was always told that they thought I was my aunt's daughter.
Oh my gosh, how fun.
Yeah, so, but getting older now, I can see a lot of those traits, whereas before I didn't know what they were talking about. So like demeanor, the way we speak, a lot of our interests. So business, for example, I didn't know this growing up. I always have the mindset of, I'm going to be a business woman when I get older.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whereas girls sometimes say, I'm going to get married and have lots of kids when I get older.
Yeah.
Maybe not lots of kids, but they imagine getting married.
Yeah.
I was more like, I want to make sure we have the best. We didn't grow up with a silver spoon, so to speak. So my parents were young when they had me. So I think it kind of trickled down to myself as well. I had our first son when I was 20, so we were forced to grow up. But again, being the oldest, it was kind of like caretaker role, became a little more natural as a young adult. The good thing is that my husband and I both knew we wanted a larger family. When I say large, we say more than 3 kids. We were used to all the cousins, very, very close. And we wanted to foster just having that support and that foundation. And then we thought, okay, we want kids, family. It's going to be tight-knit, and I think we've been successful so far in doing that. I have 4 kids. So
4 babies, you guys.
Yes.
I love it. I love the fact that you shared that with us, because I feel like, you know how they say, have you ever read that book, The Birth Order?
No.
Okay, so that book, I find it so neat because it tells you, usually when you're the firstborn, you carry a lot of those, like, motherly instinct, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter, because you tend to feel like responsible for the rest of your siblings, and therefore they say that the firstborn traditionally is always an entrepreneur. Always. I don't know how that works, but it's interesting. You should look into it. It's a really quick read, and I love you know, how it dives into the birth order. And it also helped me understand my children too, because it's like I tend to see that my oldest is a little more responsible, and then the middle child is like, let me ask for forgiveness instead of permission. And
Right.
you know, the little one. So it just kind of helps a little bit. You know, we don't have a manual when they're born,
Right.
so it's like anything I can read to better understand them is like super fun. And it's
Right.
also for myself too, because I feel like when I read it, I was like, oh my god, that is totally me.
I'll have to read that. Sounds
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a really cool one. So let's dive into maybe your teen years. What was your first job you ever had?
My first job was customer service oriented at Great America Amusement Park.
How fun.
But the neat thing was, I don't know, I think back in my teenage years, and again, it was like pulled into the direction of business. So I didn't work on rides. I selected the food department because it made more money.
I love it.
So whatever can make more money,
Yeah.
that's where I'm going to go. But have fun with it.
Yeah, totally.
So I worked in the department where company picnics were held.
Oh, wow.
So my responsibility was greeting.
Uh-huh.
So just having to pour out that customer service. And
Oh,
I was a little more quiet as a teenager, a little more shy. I was, again, close to my mom. Generally, teenage girls like to do sleepovers. I was always hanging out with my family.
Yeah.
It just, I loved it. So working in customer service did push me out there, and I had to take lead on greeting people and just making them feel comfortable and welcome. And I find that now that's what I do if I host. It's just in my heart to make anyone that walks through the door where I am feel welcome and warm.
That's awesome.
It has to be perfect. Perfectionism could be a pain, but it's just I want everyone to feel like that love and that warmth. And thinking back to when I was 15, that was my first job, is making them feel welcome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that you also shared that, because for those of you that don't know, you own a party business, right?
Yes.
So that actually transcended into a whole business for you.
It did.
Which is awesome.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, before that, you probably don't know this.
Okay.
I
Tell
actually
me
ran
that
I ran a home daycare.
No way.
Yes. So for me, if I dive into something, I need to know it from the bottom up, inside out, in order for me to feel comfortable and confident in it.
How cool.
So it was important for me to be there with my kids when they were home from school, and just be part of like building that foundation for them. My husband and I worked together to allow that. I either worked part-time when my first two kids were born, so that I can be the one with them after school doing homework and just part of that enrichment. And then my last two kids, same thing. I wanted to be highly involved, and my neighbors had a need. So again, it's like if there's a need, and if it's going to actually benefit me and my family, I'm going to dive into it.
That's beautiful.
And the daycare did just that. So in the state of California, when you're licensed, you could have up to 8 kids. And then we thought, let's go larger and do a facility.
Oh, wow.
But I wasn't ready for that commitment.
Yeah.
Because you know yourself as a business owner that having a family and running a business, you're always on. It's not done. So the families would leave, and then I still have my family and home to take care of. And then, again, as I mentioned earlier, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. My parents did what they could because they were young parents. And so a lot of things were simple for us, right? Which is, it's nice for simplicity.
Yeah, absolutely.
But me, I like to, again, go above and beyond and provide the best I can.
Yeah.
So the party planning, event planning came just part of giving my kids the best. And I do have a creative side that I love to foster. And that's why I said earlier, I'm big on arts. It was
beautiful.
always there growing up, and to this day, if I could do anything that dabbles in creativity and art, I'm for it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep.
I love that you're sharing that, because it also helps me dive into like what Angelica really is, because Angelica, you guys, is a little bit shy.
Yes.
So it's just like you're like again, you have to like peel the layers, and I love it.
Lots of layers, many layers.
I love it though, because it also showcased, and I could tell like your creativity. You showed me some of the stuff that now your daughter is doing as well, which is beautiful. So that obviously is transcending onto what you possibly like taught her, and then she made it her own.
Yes.
Which is beautiful. I love it. And your daughter is how old? And she's doing
She's
this
18.
business?
She just graduated high school. So I kind of stepped back from it because when you do events, there's many layers to it. And you could either say, yes, I'll do all of it, but then you're burning yourself out, or no, I need to focus on this one specialty area. And unbeknownst to me, she was watching all of that. She was like hearing me kind of meet with people on the phone and just going on Pinterest. And before Pinterest, you're still trying to play with color. So it's nice to have Pinterest as a tool, but this all started just trying to take inspiration like color or a theme and just making it our own. But my dad also has his own business. He's had it for over 20 years. So having your own business is not something that's foreign to her. She does balloons, she does floral, and I do more coordination. And so she's had a couple of interviews, and I know in my heart now, which I confirmed with her yesterday, I think she's just meant to do her own thing. She's had interviews, she's young, and they either were going to offer her the job and then ultimately didn't work out, and I just said, college and run your business. Just do your own thing. This is like obviously meant for you. You're obviously making more money doing your own thing.
Absolutely.
So she's actually going to start school to learn more about business and how to run it.
That's exciting. That's exciting. I think sometimes you just got to listen to the signs, right?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
sometimes things happen for a reason, and you know, a lot of the times we don't understand why until sometimes you're later, months later, a week later, and you're like, oh, got it.
Right.
That's why you wanted me to stick on this route, you know. But tell us something that you like to share that you're currently working on that someone might not know.
I'm actually, it kind of ties into real estate. I might have mentioned it to you. Learning more about interior design. So I want to be a one-stop shop for my clients. And so one, it allows me to advocate for my clients. Two, it allows me to, again, fan that creative side. I find myself when I walk into a room just looking at like the ambiance. That sets the tone, and that's very important for me. So I'm actually learning more about interior design.
That's awesome. So we should really take up Diego's invite, because he's like, come and you'll spend the whole day with me, and I'll teach you ins and outs. So after this, I'm gonna email him.
Perfect.
We're going on a trip in a little walking ship. What is one of your biggest fear?
One of my biggest fears is staying comfortable, like not getting out of my comfort zone, because I have people watching me, and it starts with my four and my husband, who's my biggest supporter. I have fear that if I stay in a comfort zone too long, I'm going to look back when I get older and say, I could have, what if I only would have. So that is like one of my biggest fears.
That's beautiful, because it's true. I mean, there was a quote that I saw somewhere, and it said, this isn't rehearsal, this is real life. And so there isn't a rewind button, and there isn't a let me go back to my teen years and fix this. And you know, not doing what your heart is like calling you for is huge. So I love that, and I already see it in you for the short time that we've known each other. I think you've really pushed yourself out of the envelope and outside of your comfort zone, and I love to see that growth and that evolution, and that, you know what, this is scary, but I'm just gonna do it. And so keep doing it. I really truly believe you're gonna achieve so many amazing things, and I can't wait to see it. And hopefully God gives me life to be able to witness that in person.
That. Yes, this is out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm usually behind the scenes, and that does come with like coordination and events. You're behind the scenes, but there are times you have to put yourself out there, and this is definitely stretching me. So
yeah, you definitely do, and I think that the more you do it, the more comfortable you're gonna get,
right?
And your creative side is gonna just flourish and evolve. Like I said, I've already seen it, and I love to see the growth, and I love to like get to dive in and know you a little bit more and a little bit more, and that. At least I assume that you're getting comfortable because you're able to share that stuff. So I love that for you. And the same with all of us and the team and myself, and for you guys to dive a little bit more and be like, oh, okay, that's who I teamed up with. I love it. Or, cancel, abort mission.
Right. Yeah, so there's many cancel, abort missions. But again, I know the cliche answer to what is your biggest fear is people say failure. But when I look at failure, it reminds me that someone actually had the courage to try to do something, right? They got out of their safe comfort zone. So now, maybe when I was younger, I wouldn't have thought that, because I think I would have said, I have a fear of failing.
Yeah.
But then now that I think about it, when someone fails, it means they actually got up and tried something.
Right. Absolutely. I think and I keep referring back to quotes because I love reading, and I kept kind of like going back to these things. But where we get to a point where I feel like instead of saying it's failure, it's like, oh, well, I tried 100 times to succeed.
Right.
I tried 50 times to succeed, and it just so happened to have worked on the 100th time. It's like, what was it? Thomas Edison, I'm probably going to screw it up, that invented the light. Right. How many tries did he take? I think it was like 1,000 tries or something like that. And don't quote me because I might be wrong. But you get the gist of it. If he would have given up, we wouldn't have these light bulbs right now, which is pretty amazing. So yes, I absolutely agree with you. So in order for us to kind of wrap up and kind of get to know Angelica a little bit more, we're going to do more of these, okay? But so it's a two-part question. What inspires you, and what would you want your legacy to be when you are no longer on this physical earth?
One, where my parents have left off, that's my inspiration, because I should be going further than they have. Two, it's my kids and my husband. My husband and I spent the first half of our marriage just on survival mode, because we started young, so we were trying to raise our family. Yeah. So I would like to be in a place of our lives where I can do it for him and our kids, and then they branch off of where I leave off.
Absolutely.
Right? Our kids should be able to take the baton and go further than where we are. So.
Absolutely. And you've definitely done an amazing job.
Thank you.
I think that one of the goals, and maybe you can dive into it a little bit on another episode or something like that. One of the things that Angelica came to me at the beginning was, I want to dive into the leasing or the rental space and all that stuff. And her dad, actually, that's one of the businesses you want to take that baton on. So I can't wait to see you take that to next levels, because you're so knowledgeable in everything that he's already doing, and you're just going to take it all the way to the next level. So I'm so excited to see that flourish and come together. But again, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself and kind of opening up, because I think these things aren't hard, even if you're comfortable, especially questions like, what is your fear? They're not easy to just, kind of dive in and just really express yourself, because it shows vulnerability. So thank you for showing that side of you.
Of course.
And anything else that you would like to add, maybe about yourself or something else you're working on or anything like that?
Yes, I'm a lifelong learner. I continue to learn what's out there for my clients, so I'm open for the challenge. If I haven't mastered something, I think that I'm open to continuing to learning, so that I can offer the best customer service to my clients. Most importantly, long-lasting relationships.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to this Legacy Talk, and until next time, we'll see you. Brenda Lopez.
Angelica Bonifacio.